All right, this is episode 1 of 10 Minutes With, where we're going through every single one of the world's strongest man competitors, talking about expectations, training, ambitions, all of that. So, number 1 is the T Rex. How are you?
Ooh, number one. I like the sound of that. I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Mate, can I ask explicit permission to speak openly for the next 10 minutes?
Of course.
Let's talk about
Permission.
your world's experiences to date. It's been pretty hectic and out of your
Yep.
control to an extent for sure. But do you feel there's a world's curse on you at the moment that you have to break?
That's what a lot of people have started dubbing me is the strongest guy to just get cursed at fucking world's strongest man.
Yeah.
But I'm just so much more prepared for this world's leading into it. Mentally, I'm in a much better place. My diet is like locked in. Supplements are on point. Training has just been going amazing. I'm feeling so strong. My conditioning is going well. I'm doing a lot of shit outside to try to get acclimated to the heat, and everything is going really, really well. So I'm looking to break the world's strongest man curse this year.
What do you say to the people who, and I'm partially in this camp as well, where you're peaked, you've been peaked and ready to go for like a month now. What's your
Yeah.
response to that? When like how do you think you can maintain this high level for months at a time?
Honestly, it's just like, are you talking about the way I'm performing and training right now, or are
Yeah,
you
dude.
talking about
You're,
like the intensity that I'm training at?
intensity is one thing because if you can recover from that, then okay. But you're at like across the board, you seem to be as strong as you've ever been.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So most people traditionally training would build into that maximal strength where you've sort of just gone up there and you're operating up there up until worlds.
Yes.
And is that, do you find that sustainable? You don't find that systemically fatiguing at all?
I really, really don't, honestly, because I take enough rest days throughout the week, and honestly, I'm listening to my body a lot more. So if I have any kind of aches or pains, CNS maybe just isn't feeling it, needs an extra day to recover, yada yada yada. I'm doing all of that. I'm
Yeah.
staying on top of my recovery. I'm doing everything that I can to prevent any kind of injury, sickness, anything like that. So I would argue genuinely that this is the strongest that I've ever been, but I'm not even fully peaked yet. I still think that there's just a little tiny bit more in my training that I can do and hit weight wise, rep wise, time wise, leading up to worlds.
Right. So let's go keys to success then. For you to perform like at your absolute maximum, do you say in particular events? I'm very much this way and go, if I perform well in this event, it's gonna go really well for me. Are you that way, or are you sort of every event has to smash it?
I am ever I play the strongman game a little bit, but for the most part, I train every event super, super hard. So that way I can go into it and give it 110%. If I know, like, let's say that you and I are in the finals and it's deadlift for reps. I'm gonna try to maintain as many points as I can, but I know, like, if we're just being honest here, I'm not gonna get you in deadlift for reps.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna push as hard in that event as I would in the rest of the events. But on the rest of the events, I would go 110% because I knew that I would be really sufficient in them, if that makes sense.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that someone could beat you in something.
Don't get used to it. Don't
Is
get
that,
used to it.
do you think that's part of like your mental growth though? Because it is important.
A little bit, yeah. I've been doing a lot of mental stuff and a lot. I believe me, I hear all of the shit that everybody talks about. Evan, he's too intense. He's too aggressive. He needs to scale it back. He needs to work on his mental game. I hear all the comments. I'm not ignorant to it.
Mhm.
It's just what a lot of people don't see is that I am working on all of that. A lot of my training days take a very long amount of time. Like I'm training like 4 or 5 hours every day. And if it's event day, it's even longer than that. But I'm doing everything that I can to try to simulate how it will be at Worlds between events, because there's going to be a decent amount of time in between events and all that good stuff. So one thing that I've actively started doing, and I actually have a sports psychologist that comes to the gym that helps me,
Oh, okay.
and it's practices that I've been using essentially to get myself super worked up. I'll do the fucking headbutt and the smelling salts and all that shit. I'll go hit my heavy sets, and then once that event is done, I'm immediately focused on changing the way that I'm thinking and approaching stuff. So that way I'm calming down, adrenaline is going down. I'm not completely taxing my CNS so that I'm not like super hyped up and aggressive and angry for like 4 hours straight. And then tomorrow I'm fried for training.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. You actually have them coming to the gym.
Yep. Yeah, he's actually one of the people that trains there. So while he's there, we talk about things, we go over like we analyze everything, all my thought processes, the events, all of that stuff. He takes it all into account, and then he helps give me exercise ideas mentally to help me prepare for that a little bit better.
Cool. That's awesome. That's really good. That'll be I reckon, a big return for you.
Oh yeah, I think so too, because it's like the one thing that I will agree with as far as like the comments about that go, it is like the one area that I needed to work on was just being able to turn it off.
Mhm.
Everybody knows me as the fucking psycho that does the salts and the headbutt and back slaps and yelling and all that shit. But just learning how to turn it off so that I don't expend too much energy has always been something that I needed to work on. But I feel like I've essentially found my groove with that, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. That is awesome. Okay. Just gonna go quick rapid fire questions right now. Of course, there's a chance that you win worlds. The chance is not, of course, not zero. If the comp is run 1,000 times over, what place do you finish in?
Are we assuming that they go my way every time, or just every 1,000 times over different experiences every time?
1,000 times over, every result that could possibly happen has you in what place on average?
First.
First on average.
First.
Wow. Wow. What do you think you're going to surprise people with?
I think I'm gonna surprise everybody by making it to the final.
In one piece, yeah.
Yeah. I think that the biggest surprise, broad answer, I think everyone's going to be surprised that I'm really going to be pushing hard for the podium. Like, genuinely, I don't think anybody except for like my friends and a couple like family members, I don't think anybody expects me to be on the podium. So I think pushing hard for that is going to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah.
Event specific, I'm really looking forward to the circus dumbbell because everybody pretty much just has Mateus and Alexi as 1 and 2 for that event. But not everybody is aware that I can hit a 300-pound dumbbell anytime I want.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's it's good. You 130 the other day. So solid, especially for long arms. Like, it's so solid.
Yeah, that was the hardest part, is just getting that wrist mobility and stability at the top of the lockout. That was the hardest part for circus dumbbell, but I figured it out.
Okay, so you're saying you'll likely win World's Strongest Man this year.
Feeling it. Yep.
When else will you win it?
What else will I win in this season?
No, when else will you win World's Strongest Man? What other years do you think you'll win?
Oh, well, my goal is definitely to win World's Strongest Man as many times as possible. I know that it's not realistic for me to say I'm going to win it for the next 10 years straight. I'm fully confident that I have at least 3 wins in me in my career.
Okay. And
I'm totally confident. I will back that 100%. I know I can win Worlds at least 3 times.
How long will your career be?
Until I'm not physically able to challenge for the title anymore. Like, let's say 5 years from now, there's fucking 6 or 7 new Mitch Hoopers. And I know that my body, like speed, strength, whatever it is, maybe I collect more injuries, knock on wood. I start going down and I just can't keep up with them anymore. That's probably when I'll start pulling back.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Last question, then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
More generally speaking, what does it mean to you to be strong?
Honestly, it means a lot to me, and it's probably not what everybody would assume, because being able to like pick up a car, the big stones and the log and all of that, that's super like cool. And I enjoy it, which is why I do it, because it makes me happy. But to me, being strong is more about being a good person. And what I mean by that is strong people lift up others. Like, a perfect example of this is like going into the gym And if I go into a commercial gym, and I'm sure it would be the same way with you, if I'm doing bench and I'll put like 500 on there and I'll start doing reps and shit like that, somebody will come up to you and they'll be like, that was so impressive. That was so cool. I'm just over here and I'm doing like 135 pounds. And then I get all discouraged because I saw you. To me, a strong person should be, no, just because I'm lifting more than you doesn't mean that my lifting is more important or that it's more impressive. You are in here working hard and busting your ass. That is like the best thing that you could possibly do. And you have earned my respect easily. I respect anybody in the gym who comes in there and actually tries to make themselves better.
Yeah.
So being strong mentally, and this is going to sound corny, but being strong mentally and being strong in your heart is the most important thing to me.
And that's probably the most misunderstood, and well, not misunderstood, but least known thing about you is that you embody that ethos off the competition floor 100%. And like anyone who doesn't see the backstage stuff doesn't understand how genuine you are to that message.
Yeah. I mean, I got tagged in a couple of different pictures from guys that were at Worlds in 21. And JF Carone had that injury when he was doing Stones, and he wasn't able to walk off the platform. And I was like one of the first ones that ran out there to help him up and walk off. And then Bobby Thompson came up and we helped him walk off. And I got tagged in that by a couple of different people. And they were like, oh, I didn't know Evan was actually like this. And he cares and stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, I do. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like everybody else in the comp. I want to win. I want to beat everybody. And I want to take the trophy home. Obviously, there's no question with that. But I love my fellow competitors. I love the spirit of competition, and I love the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks so much, mate. Like I said, you're looking strong as hell. I'm really
Thanks,
excited
brother.
to see where you're
Coming
at.
from the Arnold Classic champion. Thank you.
And I said this to you. When did I say it? I forget. It was the last time we had competed together. And I told you, I've competed against you, I think 5 times. And 4 or 5.
Shaw Classic, deadlift champs in Cardiff, Royal Albert Hall. Does Worlds count?
Sort of.
Then Worlds.
Every time we've competed, I've beat you, and it's been bullshit every time, and that pisses me off. So come in healthy, come in strong. Let's see what we can do, and looking forward to having some fun with you.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to sharing the competition floor with you healthy, giving you a run, of course, pushing you as hard as you need to be pushed. And it's going to be a really good season, man. I can genuinely speaking, I see us being on the podium together a lot this year.
Yeah, 100%. All right, mate. Thanks a lot for coming on. Train hard, stay safe, stay healthy. All right.
Yes, sir.